AITA for telling my wife, "Your family saw you working extra hours," to expose her lie? When she told me she was working overtime, I never imagined it was my life that would be knocked off kilter. I used to think I knew what betrayal looked like. I thought I would recognize it. The scent of someone else's perfume, the nervous glances, the sudden need for privacy. I thought if it ever happened to me, I would see it coming. I was wrong. My name is Nolan. For 5 years, I believed I had the kind of marriage people envy. Alyssa and I were not perfect, but we were solid. We were partners. I worked in logistics, managing supply chains for a mid-sized distributor. She was in marketing, climbing the corporate ladder at a tech firm downtown. We had plans. Kids, eventually maybe a bigger house, vacations to places we only saw in magazines. We were building something, or so I thought. The first crack appeared about 6 months ago, though I did not recognize it as such at the time. Alyssa started working late. Not occasionally, but constantly. Monday nights bled into Tuesdays, which bled into entire weeks where I ate dinner alone, slept alone, and woke up to find her side of the bed still made because she had crashed on the office couch. Or so she said. The text would come around 7 p.m. "Big project, babe. Don't wait up." Another night, another text. "The boss needs this done by morning. The overtime pays well for our future." For our future. I clung to those words like a lifeline. Because if it was for us, then the distance did not matter. Right? The missed dinners, the canceled weekend plans, the fact that we had not been intimate in over a month. It was all justifiable if it meant we were building something better. But then other, subtle changes began. At first, she started dressing differently for work. More structured blazers, tighter skirts, heels I had never seen before. She wore makeup to the office now. Not just lipstick, but the whole 9 yards. Contour on her cheekbones, smoky eyes, that illuminating foundation that made her skin look flawless. And perfume. Not the light, floral scent she used to wear, but something heavier, more seductive, something that lingered in the air. When I asked, she just laughed it off. "I'm representing the company in client meetings now," she explained with a casual wave of her hand. "I have to look professional." Professional, huh? The intimacy drought continued. When I tried to initiate something, like placing a hand on her waist in the kitchen or letting a kiss last longer than usual, she would pull away with excuses. "I'm exhausted, Nolan," she would say, turning her face away. "I have an early meeting," she would murmur on another occasion. "Can we just spoon tonight?" she would suggest softly. Except we would not spoon. She would turn her back to me, her phone glowing under the covers as she typed out messages she never showed me. I started noticing the phone thing more and more. She would smile at texts she would not let me see. She would take calls in the other room, her voice dropping to a whisper I could not make out. And when I walked in, she would end the conversation abruptly. "Gotta go, talk later," she would say quickly into the phone. Then she would look at me with that same wide, bright, completely fake smile and add, "Work stuff." I was not an idiot. I had heard the stories. I knew the signs. Hell, I had seen enough movies to recognize a cheating spouse when I saw one. But confronting her felt like admitting defeat, as if the moment I accused her, I would have already lost her. So I stayed quiet. I watched, I waited, and I hated myself for it. One night, after she left for another late project, I sat in the dark of our living room and made a decision. I was not going to ask her if she was cheating. I was not going to beg for the truth or plead for honesty. I was going to find out on my own. And if she was lying, if she was cheating, I was not just going to leave. I was going to make damn sure she understood exactly what she had destroyed. I picked up my laptop and searched for GPS trackers. I found one with good reviews, discrete magnetic mounting, real-time tracking, 2-day delivery. I bought it without hesitation, without tears, without drama, just a cold, calculated determination. The package would arrive on Thursday. The tracker arrived in a plain brown box on Thursday afternoon, just as promised. It was small, black, about the size of a matchbox, with a strong magnet on one side. I held it in my palm during my lunch break, testing its weight, figuring out where to put it. Underneath the car, near the rear wheel well, somewhere she would never think to look. That evening, while Alyssa was in the shower getting ready for another overtime shift, I slipped out of the house. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across our driveway. My hands were steady as I crouched beside her sedan, and pressed the tracker firmly against the undercarriage. It snapped into place with a soft click. I stood up, brushed the dust from my hands, and went back inside as if nothing had happened. She left at 6:40 p.m., giving me a peck on the cheek. Light, automatic, the kind of kiss you would give a roommate. "Don't wait up, babe," she said, grabbing her purse. "It's gonna be a long one." I smiled back at her. "Good luck. I'll save you some dinner." The moment her car disappeared around the corner, I pulled out my phone and opened the tracking app. A small blue dot appeared on the map, moving through our neighborhood. I watched as it wound its way toward downtown, where her office was. For a second, I felt foolish, paranoid. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe she really was just working late. Then the dot turned left instead of right, moving away from her office building and heading toward the city's east side suburbs. My stomach sank. I waited 10 minutes. The dot stopped moving, parked on a residential street I did not recognize. I grabbed my keys and started driving. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat, but my hands were not shaking. I had tunnel vision. I needed to see it. I needed to know. 15 minutes later, I turned onto the street where her car was parked in a driveway. An ordinary single-story house, a well-kept lawn, a porch light on. Everything was normal, except nothing about this was normal. I parked a block away and walked, keeping to the shadows. The blinds on the front window were partially open, just enough. The lights inside were warm, golden. I crept closer, my breath shallow, my pulse hammering in my ears, and then I saw them. Alyssa, in the bedroom with a man. She was on top of him, her hair falling loose around her shoulders, her head thrown back in a way I had not seen in months, maybe longer. The man beneath her was older, maybe mid-40s, fit, with specks of gray at his temples. I recognized him. I had seen him once when I picked Alyssa up from work, her manager, the guy she had mentioned in passing. "Oh, Trevor," she had said so casually that day. "He's harmless. Just my boss." Harmless. I stood there, frozen, watching through the window like it was a television screen, like this was someone else's life. Clothes were scattered on the floor, his hands on her waist, her mouth on his. The way she moved, urgent, desperate, alive. I could not look away. I could not breathe. My first impulse was to break down the door, drag him out by his collar, and make him bleed, scream at her, demand answers, burn it all to the ground right then and there. But then something stopped me. A voice in my head, quiet but firm. "No, not yet. If you do this now, you lose. You become the bad guy. You get arrested. She plays the victim. Think." I turned and walked back to my car, my legs feeling like they did not belong to me. I sat in the driver's seat, my hands gripping the steering wheel, and just breathed. In, out. In, out. My chest was tight. My vision blurred, but I did not cry. I did not scream. I did not break. I took out my phone and opened the Notes app. I started typing. Evidence, timeline, names, dates, locations. I needed proof. I needed leverage. And more than anything, I needed her to feel exactly what I was feeling in that moment. Not just guilt, not just regret. Humiliation. Public, irreversible humiliation. I went back home, poured 3 fingers of whiskey, and sat down at my laptop. I researched live streaming platforms, screen recording software, WhatsApp group settings, cloud storage for video evidence. I was not done. I was just getting started. For the next 2 weeks, I became a ghost in my own life. I smiled at Alyssa over breakfast. I asked her about her day. I kissed her goodbye as if nothing had changed. And she bought it. Swallowed every lie whole. Why would she not? I played the part of the oblivious husband to perfection. But behind the mask, I built a case that would make any prosecutor weep with envy. Every night she left for overtime, I tracked her. Same house, same time, usually between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. I documented everything. Screenshots of the GPS data, time-stamped and cross-referenced with her work calendar, which was synced to our shared Google account. Rookie mistake. I even set up a hidden camera app on an old tablet. I propped it on my car's dashboard and recorded videos of her car pulling into his driveway, of her going inside and staying for hours. Irrefutable. I also went on her company's website and confirmed that Trevor Caldwell was listed as a senior director of marketing. Married, 2 kids. His LinkedIn profile showed family photos. The wife, Allison, was blonde and smiling, holding their daughters on a sunny beach. I found myself wondering if Allison knew. I wondered if she would thank me later. But documentation was not enough. I did not just want proof, I wanted impact. I wanted the people she cared about, the people who thought she was the good girl, the ones who believed she could do no wrong, to see exactly who she was, to witness it all in real time. No spin, no excuses, just the raw, undeniable truth. Alyssa's family was close-knit. Her parents, Sharon and Gregory, were traditional Catholics, the kind who still went to church on Sundays and believed in the sanctity of marriage. Her younger sister, Haley, idolized her. Her older brother, Calvin, was protective, the punch first ask questions later type. They all thought I was lucky to have her, that I had won the lottery by marrying their perfect daughter. I was about to shatter that illusion. I created a WhatsApp group, but did not send the invite yet. The title was Family Emergency, vague enough to demand immediate attention. I added Sharon, Gregory, Calvin, Haley, Alyssa's two closest cousins, even her favorite aunt. 14 people in total. I drafted the message. I need you all to see this. I am sorry, but this is the truth. I did not hit send. Not yet. I was waiting for the perfect moment. I also tested live streaming platforms. I set up a temporary account. I streamed my own living room to make sure the video quality was decent, that the audio worked, that the link was generated instantly. I practiced the timing. Start stream, create group, send link, wait. I even scripted potential responses. If anyone messaged me during the stream, I would keep it short, calm, factual. Just watch the video. You will understand. No emotion, no hysterics, just the cold, hard truth. The final piece was the timing. I could not do this on a random Tuesday. It had to be a night when Alyssa felt secure, when she thought I was completely in the dark, when her guard was all the way down. So I waited. I watched her patterns. And then, finally, the opportunity presented itself. On a Friday night, 3 weeks after I discovered the affair, she told me she had a late project and would not be back before 11 p.m. She even apologized. "I'm sorry, babe," she said, touching my arm gently. "I know it has been a lot lately. I promise it will calm down soon." I smiled back at her. "It's okay. I'll be here when you get back." She gave me a kiss, another empty, meaningless gesture, and left at 6:30 p.m. I waited 20 minutes to make sure she was settled at Trevor's house. Then I got my phone, got in my car, and drove. I parked down the street from Trevor's house, close enough to see the bedroom window, but far enough to stay hidden. The lights were on, the blinds half open, just like the other times. I opened the Livestream app, aimed the phone at the window, and zoomed in. I could see them clearly now. Alyssa and Trevor, kissing, undressing, moving together in that familiar, sickening rhythm. I took a deep breath. And then I hit start stream. 8:47 p.m. It was showtime. The video feed was grainy, but clear enough. The camera captured the bedroom window perfectly. Two silhouettes against the warm light, their movements unmistakable. I adjusted the zoom slightly, bringing their faces into sharper focus. Alyssa and Trevor were kissing, her hands in his hair, is on her waist, sliding under her shirt. The audio was not perfect, but it picked up enough. Soft giggles, the creak of the bed, a low moan that made me nauseous. I stared at the screen for a moment, my finger hovering over the WhatsApp icon. This was it, the point of no return. Once I sent this, there would be no going back. No explaining it away. No damage control. Right. I opened WhatsApp, created the group, and added all the contacts I had prepared. Sharon, Gregory, Calvin, Haley, the cousins, the aunt. 14 people. I typed the message. "I need you all to see this. I am sorry, but this is the truth." I pasted the link to the live stream. I hit send. 8:51 p.m. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then the group exploded. Haley's message popped up first. "What is this?" Sharon's came a second later. "Nolan, what's going on? What am I looking at?" Then Calvin. "Is that Alyssa?" I did not reply. I just watched the messages flood the group, one after another, faster and faster. Gregory's message was in all caps. "Stop this. Stop this now." Aunt Diane typed quickly. "Oh my God. Oh my God. Is this real?" Cousin Tessa replied, "I'm going to be sick." The messages became frantic. Questions, denial, anger, horror. Sharon was calling Alyssa. Calvin was calling Alyssa. Haley was calling me. My phone was vibrating nonstop in my hand, but I put it on silent. I kept the stream running. On the screen, Alyssa's phone lit up on the nightstand. Once, twice, 3 times. She ignored it at first, too lost in the moment to care. But then it did not stop. It vibrated, vibrated, vibrated. She paused, confused, and reached for it. I watched through the window and simultaneously saw the reactions flooding the message group as her world imploded. She unlocked her phone. Her face went completely and utterly white. She sat up abruptly, pulling the blanket over herself, staring at the screen as if it had just handed her a death sentence. Trevor was asking what was wrong, his voice muffled through the glass. She did not answer, just kept scrolling, reading, her mouth hanging open, her hands shaking. The message group was a war zone now. Calvin typed furiously, "Where the hell are you right now?" Gregory's message was cold. "You have shamed this family." Sharon's message came through in all caps. "How could you do this to Nolan?" Haley's text was desperate. "Alyssa, please tell me this isn't real. Please." Alyssa finally answered a call from Haley. I could not hear the conversation, but I saw her pacing, gesturing frantically, one hand pressed to her forehead. Trevor was getting dressed now, spooked, asking questions she was not answering. She just kept shaking her head, tears streaming down her face. The messages kept coming. Alyssa's cousin Lucas wrote, "You always acted so high and mighty. Now we know who you really are." Aunt Diane added, "I can't believe I ever defended you. I feel sick." Sharon sent another message. "My heart is broken. How could you do this? How could you throw away a good man like Nolan?" Gregory's final message was brutal. "Don't come home. You are no longer welcome in this family." Alyssa was sobbing now, her whole body shaking with grief. Trevor tried to comfort her, but she shoved him away. She grabbed her clothes from the floor, pulling them on with trembling hands, her phone still clutched in a tight fist. I ended the stream at 9:14 p.m. 23 minutes of footage. More than enough. I took screenshots of the group chat, over 200 messages now. Most of them condemning her, some cursing her out, a few from Sharon just saying, "My heart is broken." I saved everything to the cloud. Then I drove home. I did not speed. I did not blast music. I just drove. Hands steady on the wheel, jaw tight, my mind eerily calm. By the time I pulled into my driveway, I had 47 missed calls. I ignored them all. I went inside, locked the door, and started packing Alyssa's things. Clothes, shoes, toiletries, makeup, everything went into black trash bags. I worked meticulously, room by room, until nothing of hers was left. I dragged the bags to the front lawn, 7 in total, and left them there in a neat pile. Then I changed the locks. It took me 40 minutes. By the time I was done, it was 10:30 p.m. At 10:41 p.m., Alyssa's car pulled into the driveway. I watched from the window. She got out slowly, like she was moving through water, and stopped when she saw the bags. She just stood there, staring at them, her face pale under the streetlight. Then she walked to the door and tried her key. It did not work. She tried again. Nothing. She started pounding on the door. "Nolan, Nolan, open the door. Let me explain," she yelled, her voice breaking. I did not move. "Please," she screamed, her voice cracking. I'm so sorry. Just let me in. We can fix this." I opened the door just enough to look her in the eye. My voice was calm, flat. "There's nothing to fix," I said firmly. "You're done. Get your things and go." She tried to push past me, but I blocked her. "Nolan, please," she started, desperate. I cut her off. "No, you don't get to speak. You don't get to cry. You made your choice. Now live with it." I shut the door. She stayed there, screaming, pounding on the wood, begging, sobbing. "You've ruined my life," she cried from behind the door. "You humiliated me in front of everyone. How could you do this?" I walked away. I did not look back. Eventually, the pounding stopped. I heard her car start. She drove away. I sat on the couch, in the dark, and stared at nothing. The silence was louder than anything she could have said. The next 72 hours were a blur of chaos, but I remained in the eye of the storm. Alyssa tried everything. Texts, calls, emails. One text read, "Nolan, please, we need to talk. I made a mistake. I can change. Please don't do this." I blocked her on everything. Phone, social media, email. I did not want explanations. I did not want apologies. I wanted her gone. Her family reached out, though. Sharon called me the next morning, Saturday, crying so hard she could barely speak. Nolan, I am so sorry, she sobbed into the phone. I didn't know. She isn't who I thought she was. Her voice broke. You deserve better. You deserved so much better. I thanked her for the call and made it clear that I was done. I appreciate the call, Sharon, I replied calmly. But I can't stay in this marriage. I'm filing for divorce. I understand, she whispered back. I'm so sorry for all of this. Gregory texted later that day. It was short and to the point. You were a good husband. She threw it all away. This is on her. Calvin reached out on Sunday. His message was supportive. You did the right thing, man. I can't believe she did that to you. If you need anything, a place to crash, someone to talk to, I'm here. Even Haley, who had tried to defend Alyssa at first, went silent after I sent her the complete evidence file, GPS logs, timestamps, video clips, screenshots of Alyssa's lies. She replied hours later with just 2 words. I'm sorry. Meanwhile, Alyssa was unraveling. She moved in with a friend temporarily, but word spread fast. The stream link had leaked beyond the family group. Someone shared it, probably Calvin or a cousin, and now people at her work knew. HR got involved. Alyssa and Trevor were both placed on administrative leave, which is corporate code for, we're building a case to fire you. Trevor's wife, Allison, found out within 48 hours. I do not know who told her, maybe someone from Alyssa's family, maybe a coworker, but she knew. She filed for divorce immediately. Took the kids, took the house, took everything. Trevor tried to contact me on Tuesday, 3 days after the stream. His email was pathetic, offering money, asking me not to make things worse. I did not reply. A week later, he resigned and moved 2 states away. His wife would not let him see his kids. His reputation was destroyed. He was finished. Alyssa's parents disowned her. Gregory told her she was no longer welcome at family gatherings. Sharon stopped taking her calls. Calvin was disgusted. Haley was torn but ultimately sided with her family. Alyssa was exiled, cut off, alone. She tried reaching out to mutual friends, but I had already told them the truth. I showed them the proof. No one wanted to get involved. No one wanted to be associated with her. I moved forward with the divorce. I hired a lawyer on Monday and filed on Wednesday, using the videos and GPS data as proof of adultery. In our state, proven adultery heavily impacts the division of assets and any potential alimony award. Alyssa's lawyer tried to negotiate, but my evidence was ironclad. She had no leverage, no defense, nothing. The divorce was finalized 4 months later, in early March. She got nothing. No alimony, no part of my retirement, no claim to the house, which had been in my name before the marriage. She signed the papers without a fight. She had already lost everything else. I did not celebrate. I did not gloat. I just went through the motions. Went to work, came home, went to the gym, watched TV, slept. Friends would check in. You doing okay, man? I'm fine, I would reply. And in a way I was. I was not happy, but I was not destroyed either. I was just numb. One Saturday afternoon in April, after the divorce was final, I was sitting in the backyard, drinking a beer and staring at the sky. My phone buzzed. A text from Haley popped up on the screen. She's in a really bad way. Thought you should know. I read it, did not reply, and deleted it. I took another sip of my beer. Alyssa's downfall was not my responsibility. She made her choices. She lied. She cheated. She destroyed what we had. And when the consequences came, she could not handle them. That was not my problem. I leaned back in my chair, closed my eyes, and let the sun warm my face. For the first time in months, I felt light. It has been 6 months since the divorce was finalized. 6 months since I signed those papers and walked out of that courthouse a free man. I am sitting in my living room on a Friday night, alone. The house is quiet. Too quiet, sometimes. But it is my silence. No lies, no deception, no pretense. Sometimes I think about Alyssa. Not because I miss her, but because I wonder if she ever really loved me, or if I was just convenient, a placeholder, someone to pay half the bills while she figured out what she really wanted. I heard through the grapevine that she moved to another city, got a new job, and cut ties with almost everyone from her old life. Good. She should. She burned every bridge she had. There was nothing left for her here. Some people think I went too far. A few mutual friends call me cruel. They said I humiliated her unnecessarily. I do not care. She humiliated herself. I just made sure the right people were watching. I would do it all again. Because what was the alternative? Confront her in private, give her a chance to lie, to manipulate, to play the victim while I looked like the paranoid, jealous husband. That would have broken me more than the cheating itself. This way, I controlled the narrative. I had the proof. I had the power. But power does not fill the empty side of the bed. It does not make the house feel less lonely. I am not bitter. Not exactly. I am just a realist. I know that trust is something I may never fully give again. I know that the next woman I date, if there is a next one, will have to deal with the fact that I have been burned, that I will always be watching for the signs. Maybe that is not fair to her, but it is the reality I live in now. I am not broken, just guarded. Walled off. I have learned that love is not enough when it is built on lies, that partnership means nothing when one person is just playing a part, and that sometimes the only way to protect yourself is to burn the bridge before someone can push you off it. Was it worth it? The live stream, the public shaming, the scorched earth revenge? I do not know. It did not make me happy. It did not bring me peace. But it gave me one thing, control. For those 23 minutes, I was not the victim. I was the one holding the cards. And when she came home that night, crying, begging, trying to manipulate me one last time, I was able to say no. I was able to close the door. And that, in a twisted way, mattered. I am not proud of what I did, but I am not ashamed of it, either. I did what I had to do to survive her betrayal with my dignity intact. And maybe that is all anyone can ask for, to walk away with your head held high, even if you are walking away alone. I finished my beer, set the bottle on the table, and leaned back into the couch. The TV is on, some action movie I am barely watching. My phone is on the coffee table, the screen dark. No one is texting, no one is calling. And for the first time in months, it does not bother me. Because the silence is not empty. It is clean. It is honest. It is mine. I think about the future. Maybe I will date again. Maybe I will not. Maybe I will meet someone who makes me believe in love again. Or maybe I will just focus on myself, my career, my hobbies, my peace. Either way, I am not waiting for permission. I am not asking for forgiveness. I am not looking for closure from anyone but myself. The movie ends. I turn off the TV. The room goes dark, except for the glow of the streetlight outside. I stand up, stretch, and walk to the window. The neighborhood is quiet. The street is empty. Somewhere out there, Alyssa is living with the consequences of her choices. And in here, I am living with mine. I do not know if I won. I do not know if there is such a thing as winning when a marriage ends. But I know one thing. I did not lose myself. I did not become the victim. I did not let her rewrite the story. And maybe, in the end, that is the only victory that really matters. I turn from the window, walk to my bedroom, and close the door behind me. Tomorrow, I will wake up, go to the gym, go to work, and live my life. Because that is what you do when the war is over. You do not celebrate. You do not mourn. You just move on. And that is exactly what I am going to do. Lying in bed, I stare up at the ceiling in the dark. My breathing is even. My mind is finally, mercifully quiet. No regrets, no second-guessing, just the cold, hard certainty that I survived. And sometimes, survival is enough. Comment. Hey everyone. As we reflect on Nolan's story, it's a powerful reminder of how fragile trust can be. The most meaningful relationships in our lives are built on honesty, and without it, everything can fall apart. But even in the face of profound betrayal, this story also shows us the incredible strength within ourselves to survive and reclaim our peace. Let's be the kind of people who build others up with integrity, creating a foundation so strong it never has to be tested this way. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.